All right, good morning, trade pros, and welcome to our morning market update for December 12th of 2018. It is Wednesday today. All day, I've been told it's going to be Wednesday. This is George from Trade Pro Academy. I'm happy to be here with you. I'm taking my alter ego as Santa, and I'm running with it all December. So, ho, ho. Welcome to Morning Market Update. Do you guys see the strand of fiber just floating? That's so cool. I get distracted easily. Let's start out today by telling you what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about a few things. We're going to give you a morning market fun fact, a few overnight levels for three key assets. Then we're going to look at China tariff and U.S. tariff situation, what's going on there, and Theresa May's latest update, and a quick review of Donald Trump's latest couple hours. It's been crazy. All right, so let's get started. Morning market fun fact today. On this day in 1914, the New York Stock Exchange reopened after closing in July on fears of the outbreak of World War I. All right, so imagine the stock market being closed for that long. By the end of 1915, however, the market had gained nearly 82% on the back of Western Europe purchasing American goods and weaponry and defense systems for the war. So quite a rally in a short period of time after a huge closure. Interesting stuff. Let's talk about the overnight price levels. So first and foremost, the S&P 500 behind me, as you guys could see somewhere up there. It's actually that screen right behind me on the top left. The S&P 500 had a very volatile U.S. session yesterday. All right, it sold off, hit overnight or day session lows, rallied back up, nearly 40 handles, sold back off 34 handles, and closed down there. So very volatile session, a lot of opportunity for day traders, and I hope you guys had a great day with it. So here's what happened. The overnight low was formed at 26.31 on the S&P 500 futures. It is now trading above the 10% correction level at 26.51, which is very important, and also trading above the 2018 open of 26.75. So after trading up, then selling off near the lows, it's rebounded and smashed through two key resistances in the S&P 500. Next major resistance at 27.03. If you guys don't know, the last couple of days have had a pattern to them. They've started off weak in the morning, and then they've closed off in the afternoon with some more bearish sentiment, or bullish sentiment rather, upside. And so, however, at around mid-afternoon to late afternoon, we've seen the sell-off come in. The bears have continued to press prices lower. No matter how bullish you could feel, it's been reversed and it's turned lower and weaker. But we aren't able to break the key support structure below. And I think today we're starting to get to the point where bears keep pressing, and all they're doing is getting stuck in their positions and not getting paid. So at some point, we're going to have an explosive buy stop release to the upside, and we could be doing it today. Now, that being said, you can't just get long and hope for that to happen. Hope might have got Obama elected, but it won't do anything for you trading. All right, remember that. So what you want to do here is follow the volumes, follow the order flow. I'm going to start out with a bullish idea, and if this thing starts turning bearish again like it did yesterday, I'll have no problem shorting this thing, and that's how you should be as well. Don't carry your biases with you to the grave, because they will bring you there, especially in your trading account. All right, oil's up 1.8% to 52.56 today. It had a minus 10.2 million barrel draw on the API report yesterday. Oil is a supply and demand market, and when you have a draw like that, all right, that indicates that there's less supply coming into the system and or more demand for it, which is obviously bullish in either way. And that we also had a minus 2.5 million draw on gasoline, and the previous day close on oil was 51.91. We rallied up to as high as 52.80, almost a whole dollar. A buck at a time on oil. That's how it tends to run, or run about a dollar on really explosive moves and retrace from there. Resistance at 53.35 overhead for the day. You get through that, I think we get some more buy stops as well. All right, that's the target for our move. Dollar index 97.40 to 97.60 above is a huge resistance. Not just a resistance from an intraday and swing trading time frame. It's a resistance from 2018, because the 2018 high is 97.69. And there's a ton of buy stops above there for the US dollar. We're in a bullish trend. We're going to see if we can go and elect those stops. And another strategy you could do is try to short this high one more time. It's worked a lot of times, but remember, the more times the level is tested, the less strong that level is. Common mistake for traders is to say, oh, it's hit it 7 times. There's got to be an 8th. That's not how it works. All right. In today's markets in Asia, Japan's up a whole 2.2%, Hong Kong's up 1.6%, China's up 0.3%, India up 1.8%. Strong gains across the board in Asia. I'll tell you why in a moment. In Europe at midday, London's up 1.3%, Paris is up 1.7%, Frankfurt up 1 whole percentage point. Strong gains across the board in Europe as well. In the United States, Dow's up 0.6, Nasdaq's up 9%. Nasdaq's up 9%. Santa lied to you. At 0.9%, 1 percentage point. S&P's up 0.7%. Interesting to see equities rebound, and I think we do need a little bit of rebound. Here's the fact that remains troubling for me. The Russell 2000 index, this is an index of small capitalized stocks. This has very often been an early indication of economic strength or weakness. So whichever way Russell goes, that's where the economy is heading. If you think about why, the 2,000 smallest cap companies have obviously less resources and more exposure to economic cycles. So however they're being valued is ultimately a closer value or valuation of where the economy is at. If you look at a stock like Apple, Apple doesn't really tell you about the economy because they're sitting on billions of dollars of cash, hundreds of billions of dollars of cash. They can weather a recession. All right. So that's the thing, that the small caps are a lot more reactive to economic conditions, and they have a lot more to lose, and there's more risk, but their valuations are also more indicative of economic strength or weakness. Here's the interesting part. The Russell 2000 has slumped 17% from the August 31st all-time high, and that's the lowest level since September of 2017. 3% shy, 3%. Hey, babe, to my wife, I'm wearing my wedding ring. She always says, why don't you wear your wedding ring when you're at the gym? I'm going to bend it. I lift heavy weights. 3%. This was to show her. I'm pretty much checking in for her. 3%. Short of a bear market, a 20% drop. So interesting stuff. All right. I'm very curious to see how this Russell holds and rebounds. If we're going to rebound here, and it's got to start soon, the Russell's got to lead along with tech stocks. All right, gold's up 0.1%. Bitcoin is recovering from some of its slump, still around mid 3,000 level, and that's it. This morning we had some really important economic report numbers, and it didn't update. CPI, that's all right, I remember it. The CPI number came out at 0.2% annualized versus 0.2 expected. And the core and the headline number were both in line with expectations. So that's an inflation reading. Inflation's not stronger or weaker. It just is where it was expected to be. All right. And that's good news for the Federal Reserve. I think, speaking of the Fed, Jerome Powell got a little bit excited, saying we're nowhere near neutral rates, when in fact we sort of were, depending on which band of the neutral you take. Now he shifted his language into, hey, we're very close. We're going to be a little bit more malleable and wait as data comes in, more data dependent, blah, blah, blah. And I think the fact lower inflation comes in here gives more opportunity for him to potentially slow down the rate hike cycle. All right. We'll talk about that whole other time. It's a whole other situation. 10:30 this morning, oil inventories in 1 hour of one day on this specific day. You could make your whole income for the week. Heck, I've seen opportunity where you can make your income for the month. Come trade with us. Oil inventories is super important, and it's very tradable. I don't want to call it easy because it's not. Nothing's easy. Nothing that's going to make you the kind of money and give you the lifestyle you want is going to be easy, but it's worth it. All right, put it that way. And so come check it out. It's going to be a fun opportunity. That's at 10:30. I'm really excited to trade this with the team. 24 billion 10-year note auction at 1 p.m. and that's it. All right, things that happened overnight that you should know. China said that it would reduce its auto tariffs coming into the U.S. from 40 down to 15%. That's a pretty good indication that China and U.S. starting to work together a little bit on some of this trade war that's been called, the situation to de-escalate and maybe come into some form of agreement. They've also agreed to purchase more soybean crop and agricultural products. This was a call between Chinese VP Liu He and U.S. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin and U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer. They all three of them had a phone call, and it was very productive. All right. That put a lot of bullish sentiment, obviously. Look, they said there's a 90-day time frame. Nobody really believed that. This is just lip service, blah, blah, blah. They're yapping. But it looks like they're actually putting effort towards trying to find an agreement, which is good. It's positive. The market's going to like that. Theresa May today faces a no confidence vote in the evening after the markets close. Remember, in Europe and in London, it's evening or markets close at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. So it's going to be a midday to early afternoon vote that comes through. She needs 48 votes for her to call her out, basically. So if 48 people issue their non-confidence vote, then they go to a simple majority, and then a simple majority wins, and she's out. Then they got to change leadership. On that news, the pound fell to a 20-month low against the dollar to 1.2477 on news of a non-confidence vote. Here's the thing about no confidence vote and why it's so bad. It's like Theresa May's worked all the 2 years almost on this Brexit. It's been 2 years. Can you guys believe it? And now we're coming into what, the last 90 days? And everything goes on 90 days. Jeez, that's crazy. It's coming down in the last 90 days, the March 29th deadline for them to leave the European Union. And if she gets ousted or just gets pushed out, all right, and her whole government gets it discombobulated and goes in disarray, and they elect somebody new, what do you think that new person is going to be able to do in 90 days? Right? Not much. That's the answer. So it's like you kick her out, the Brexit idea is done. It's no longer going to be a hard Brexit. It's going to be a soft Brexit. Border problems, Northern Ireland, blah, blah, blah. Steeper tariffs, all the stuff that the UK people didn't want, they're going to get. And that happens with kicking her out. And so, yeah, it's not a good situation. So the pound's going to be like, this sucks, and it's going to drop. I read an article the other day on the Journal, the Wall Street Journal, amazing publication. A lot of professional traders read it. And I'll tell you this, a lot of they did an article covering professional traders and their take on the pound. And one guy said something that stuck with me. He said, there's no way in hell that I'm trading the pound right now. It's like it's so news driven that it just doesn't give you an opportunity to get in on size. All right. Those levels aren't respected as much. Technicals don't work. It's all just news. And it's like, I can't get in on size. There's other stuff out there that I'm trading. Interesting opinion, because I was thinking the same thing. I mean, all these moves up and down, great. You could be making a ton of money, but that's not how I trade. I don't like news trades because there's no method to the madness. You got to sort of be in and be out, and it's like you're making thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, but you're gonna have a heart attack within 12 seconds. I don't like that kind of trading. I like to make my life a little bit easier. But if you're doing it and doing good, keep going. Just up your insurance policy. That's all you got to do. You could buy more insurance. Not gonna be a problem. And if you think that's good advice, put me as a beneficiary. I don't really mind. Just kidding. I hope you guys are alive and well. I don't want you to put me as a beneficiary. I'd rather see you live and be here for us for the next 70 years. All right. That's what's going on. Those are two things that are happening. Trump, trade war, and May leave. That's got a punch to it. Last thing I talked about, tumultuous Trump's last 24 hours. I came up with that myself. He got a win on some of these Chinese negotiations kicking off. That's good. All right. Yesterday, there was a video that got published from the Oval Office, a fight with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. And they were just going back and forth, and it got a little heated. And you got a little look into what a meeting would probably be like behind the scenes. Donald Trump said to Chuck Schumer, we will shut the government down if I don't get funding for my border wall. And this time, I'm going to put it on me. He's like, I don't care. It'll be on me. And he went on the record and said that. And Chuck Schumer looked very pleased with him admitting that. So he said, if there's no funding secured for the wall, he's going to shut down the government, which means why would they shut it down? No funding agreement. They can't pay their bills. They got to cut costs. And that's interesting. And a shakeup with John Kelly that he's going to squeeze out by the end of the year. He's got to replace him. Last but not least, he won, and that Stormy Daniels owes him $300,000 in legal fees after losing the court case against him. He's had, man, that guy. I read his book, The Art of the Deal, and he says sleeps 4 hours a day. You should sleep more. Donald Trump, I know you're listening to this. Please sleep more. All right, guys, that's all we got for the morning market update. Upside today, I'm looking to buy dips, and if we're weak after the first 10, 15 minutes of the open and volume's coming in the downside, then obviously start selling rallies. But I got to be bullish to start the day. We're above the 2018 open, and as long as that holds, green is going to come out. We got a lot of buy stops, a lot of sellers stuck short, and that's going to translate to buying if we pop the level above. All right, you guys take care. Have yourself an amazing day. Hopefully, we'll see you. Join the room and trade oil inventory with us today at 10:30. Got a 14-day money-back guarantee, so it's risk-free, right? And when will you ever have a risk-free proposition in the market? You won't. So take this one. Take care and goodbye. All right, trade pros, let's get in here and open up some levels and the room. I think I'm gonna wear the Santa Claus hat all day. What do you guys think? I remember I was going to get some lunch a couple days ago, and I was wearing it, walking around with Mark here from the office, and everyone thought I was crazy on the street. Only kids looked at me and smiled, like, they appreciated it. You know, God bless the kids. They have an imagination that we need to adopt as well. All right, let's look at some levels. We're going to set some levels for the S&P 500 where I'm going to like to see a long opportunity, and then I'm going to hand it over to our oil desk to talk about some oil opportunities. And our other two gentlemen are not in the office today, so I'm alone. So I'm going to need you guys' help, because when I'm alone, I get weird. All right, let's jump into it. Let's start with the S&P 500.